Should be good.
Okay.
All right, everybody, please welcome our friend. I have to put my hand the right correct way. Genesis Keefer Music. I will do a shout out to him. Shout out.
Hello.
There we go. And Genesis, I am going to tell them a little bit about you in terms of how I have gotten to know you, and then you can say if you have anything you want to add.
Right.
So Genesis is from Singapore. It's funny how I was having trouble remembering that, but now I have it in my head. He sings, so he's from Singapore. But
okay, that's a nice way to.
Yeah, he's a singer-songwriter, and he also is a music producer, I think. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Music producer. He has all kinds of different genres that he does. I've seen mostly you doing pretty much like an R&B type style thing, but I've seen you also do lots of other different genres too.
Yep.
Yeah, recently some concerts, even had his music in a fashion show.
Yep, that's right.
Which was really exciting to see. Mm-hmm. And I think I first got connected to you a couple of years ago on Twitch.
Yeah. So what? It's like during the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you wanted to tell everybody about you?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I produce music. I play for different local artists over here in Singapore. I do my own stuff, and it's basically like a genreless thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, we don't put you into any specific genre, it seems like.
Yeah. At least for Twitch, I kind of have like one style.
A sleepyhead style.
Yep, exactly. Sleepyhead style.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I think the last time that I saw you came back on Twitch was, I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not sure when it was, but you had been away for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I think the reason why I had to stop was I went back into school. So I was about to take like my degree in music. So I had to kind of like spend a bit more time on that stuff, and I couldn't find like a right time I couldn't find the time to stream in the week in like the week. So I didn't want to be like inconsistent either, so I just kind of stopped the whole thing for a bit, Then now that I'm done, I can get back to it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was really excited to see you back. And we raided into you. And it's funny because I think I felt very connected to you. I think a lot of it was because the way you reacted to my original song, and seemed like you were very sincere about it. Like a lot of people could be like, say all kinds of really, really flattering things to you, and it would be like, oh, they're just trying to be nice or whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just, I felt that it wasn't just that it was you actually being sincere.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just you saying, oh, I like your voice. It was you saying not just that you liked my voice, but what you liked about it and things like that.
Exactly. I think when I do, like on Twitch, if I'm complimenting something, I always feel it's I would rather compliment something that I am, what's the word for it? Sincere, or like, can't find the word. I can't English today, but something that I mean, or like I have a reason to compliment. You know, if not, I would just not say anything. Even if it's like a small little compliment, like, oh, I like your voice. I probably wouldn't do that. I would probably just, you know, not say anything. But if I do have something to say, I would really like to get it across. And, you know, like, for example, like telling you why I like your voice, or like what I do enjoy about something.
Yeah, that's what I sensed from you. I really sensed that you were being sincere. And I think hearing you say that about my voice made me feel more confident about myself. And I really liked how after I left watching your stream, I thought to myself, you know what? I might not be the greatest guitarist, but I do have something to offer in terms of my voice. And it made me feel like I wanted to continue doing it.
Exactly. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. You know, some people, they don't really take, like, there are people who don't take compliments that well. Like, not in a sense where they don't like it, but, you know, when you can take compliments and use it for, like, to improve, or it's like affirmation to yourself. I think that's really nice when you can do that.
Yeah.
So
it's like we were talking outside a stream about how my father had passed just a few weeks ago. And I'm leading his memorial service. And one of the quotes that I have in connection with my father comes from Maya Angelou. And do you know who she is? Maya Angelou?
yeah.
She was a poet and a writer. And one of the things that she said was, people are not going to remember all the things you did. And I personally think some people are really too emphasized on trying to accomplish a lot, you know, in life. People aren't going to remember all the things you did. They're going to remember how you made them feel.
Yes, exactly.
So I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about how you would incorporate that in just your life and how you interact with people.
Yeah, this is something that I do think about as well. Like, what do I want to do? I think a lot. Like, I think a lot. When I was younger, I used to think about, like, everything from, you know, stuff, the most general things, like, where do we go after we die? Or, like, do we have, like, past lives and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
I've always thought about these things, but ultimately, the things I learned from, like, thinking about these things is I started questioning, like, okay, so now that I'm here, what do I do with the time? What do I want to do with myself? So some people, you know, I believe some people are, like, a bit more low key. They don't really want to be, like, known or anything to do with, like, making a mark in this world. Some people want to leave a mark in this world and be, like, remembered in any way. So yeah, the main question was, like, what do I want to do in this time? Do I want to be bold, like, make a bold statement? You know, we could all, like, I could, you know, be gone any moment. So, like, what do I want to leave behind? Or do I even want to leave anything behind? So that really made me think of what what I would like to achieve with my music, at least, because I've been doing music from, I think, like about 10 years now. I think professionally I've been doing music for like 10 years, and throughout the 10 years I've always been wondering, what do I want to do with it? Because I think 5 years in, I was really deep into music. Not in a sense where I'm very in the industry and or anything, but the music itself, like the art itself. I got really deep into it. So yeah, I started becoming a part of my life, basically. Like, I quite literally breathe music, you know?
So how over the time, and I think that maybe you were all the way, pardon me for interrupting you. How over time do you think this whole perspective to you has changed to how you want your life to look like and what you feel like you want to leave behind? So you want to leave behind your music, or is it something else now? Do you think that as you've gotten older, such an ancient age that you are right now, right? As you've gotten older, do you think that your perspective has changed? And as you have lost people like I have, whether you think differently now?
Yeah, like back then, I used to think, I used to want to like leave a mark with my music by, making something influential or something that will move people, something that would stick with people. So I was like working towards that, but the longer I've been doing music, or actually kind of a backstory. I used to do like more contemporary stuff like funk, pop music, blues stuff. But recently I've been into more experimental, electronic, ambient music, noise. So it's really like expressive kind of. I wouldn't even call it music anymore. I'll just call it like art. It's like an art form thing. So it's all about expression, and it's no longer really about like, does it sound good? That's what I believe right now. So in that sense, my mindset towards what I want to leave behind kind of shifted to slightly like it shifted to something that is not as music related as I thought it would be. So yeah, I what it is I kind of want to leave behind nothing but but I want to say knowledge, but I don't think knowledge is the right thing. But
do you think, do you want me to call you, excuse me for interrupting, do you want me to call you Genesis or G, or do you have a preference?
Oh, I have no preference. G or Genesis works, yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if you meant, like a lot of times I feel like, for me, as I'm actually getting into my 60s, I see that some people have the perspective of actually getting into your later years, that the more you keep on learning as you're getting older, then you just want to you sound like you're saying you just want to spend your life constantly learning and trying new things. Do you think that's part of it?
I guess it is. It is definitely. I do believe like learning is like everybody, even if you don't want to, you will be learning as you grow older. in different ways, but I think for me, I really wanna, it's kind of low key. I want to be low key. I don't really want to have like a huge, leave a huge mark in this world. Like I want everybody to know me and stuff like that. I don't want any of those. But in terms of like loved ones and like family, our friends, I like to leave behind good connections. Like when you're really connected with a friend, I don't think that like leaving this world would break that connection. So I really strive to build strong and real connections with people, so I know those connections wouldn't break, even if I were to leave the world, for example. But yeah, so that's the goal. I would like to just build more connections as I grow older, genuine ones, stuff like that.
It seems like almost like having someone ask you about it right now is actually helping you think about it too in some ways.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you were saying about thinking, like, I know a lot of people tell me I think too much and that I cause myself problems that way because I imagine what things could be like. I imagine good things. I imagine bad things. And sometimes it would be nice just for the brain to take a rest,
Yeah.
But one of the things I've struggled with, and I wonder whether you have also, is self-care and just taking care of my own needs versus other people's. Like when my father passed, he lives like several time zones away. And I was already planning to go to see the family for a wedding. And I found in the past that it was really a risky thing for me to travel alone because I would get confused. And I had the past time when my mother passed, I got confused a couple of times where I thought I actually could have been like in danger, So I told my brothers, the next time when something happens, eventually with my father, that I wasn't going to put myself in that position. So it's a struggle now, reflecting that, okay, when I could have just dropped everything and run out there, so I could have done that, but and I missed a lot because I didn't do that. But at the same time, I think I was honoring my father's wishes because he didn't want me to put myself in a situation where I could have been experienced harm, or had something bad happen to me. So have you ever had something like that? Thank you for the hug. It's me. Have you ever had struggles like that where it was what you would do for others versus what you would do to take care of yourself?
Yeah, I used to have, I actually do still have that struggle recently. I kind of care about others more than I care for myself. So I think it's a good trait. I think it's a good trait being selfless and showing like care for other people more. Like I feel it's a good trait to care for other people more than yourself, because it's just, I wouldn't say it feels good, but something about it that is very pure. Like something about it is really pure. If everybody were to care for everyone else, that would be like a perfect world. But obviously It's not a perfect world, but I think it's a really nice thing, like outward care. I'm just going to say outward care. I don't know what the term is.
To care for other people as opposed to yourself.
Yeah.
But have you ever run into times when you really didn't take care of yourself as much as you should, and you found that actually you couldn't take care of others because of that?
Right. I actually don't have any of the, like, I realize I've always caught myself before it got like too bad. So every time I start to see like, okay, I don't think I'm taking care of myself as much as I should, but I kind of catch myself and, you know, make some changes. It's like always tipping, or like not tipping, but, you know, it's both aspects always trying to keep up with each other. So if I would care for other people a bit too much, I would catch myself, care for myself, probably care for myself a bit too much.
Right.
Yeah, and then, you know, I'm just glad that I've always caught myself before it got too far, you know.
Yeah.
So that's great.
What is the thing that happens when you catch yourself? Do you have someone say something to you, or you just notice it, like when you reflect on what your day is like?
Yes. I think it's after when it starts to get a bit too far. I just feel this wave through my body, and you kind of like snap out of it for a moment and be like, whoa, what am I doing? You know, like,
yeah,
your body just snaps into like a state, like you kind of like zoom out of your life and be like, what am I doing? So I don't know what like triggers it. Like, I don't know what, if it's just like really so bad to the point where, you know, I start realizing it, but I don't know. I believe that, like, I feel a wave. That's the trigger. Like a physical wave through my body.
That's interesting. Wow, physical wave through your body.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about that. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that.
Yeah, because I've been very connected with my body and like my mind, so I'm very sensitive to changes in my body. I'm very sensitive to how external factors can affect my body or my mind, or, you know, those kind of stuff. So when I do sense something off, or like if I do sense that, if I need to take more care of myself, there will be like some form of, I don't know, chemical reaction in your body, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think because I'm so sensitive, and, you know, I just kind of like snap out of it for a moment, I feel the changes really, like it's very obvious to me. So to me, it feels like a huge reaction to things. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I would snap out of it. Like, I don't think I can explain that, but my body just reacts to it. It's just like, yeah, all of a sudden, I could be rotting in bed for like a week straight, and, you know, that's really bad. But like a week straight, maybe like end of the week, I would just suddenly I would be staring up in the wall or something, and I would just snap out of it and like question myself, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I've been here for a week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like, it sounds like you get to the point where you look at yourself and sort of step outside of yourself and look at yourself as an observer would, as opposed to looking at yourself just as yourself. Look at yourself objectively, as if it was someone from the outside.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like a reaction, like it happens, you just like kind of zoom out, and then that's where, you know, I catch myself, and try to balance everything out. I'm just glad it hasn't got too bad or like too far off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was curious, couple of things. Have you, I think I mentioned I was going to ask you this. When I listen to you talk, so you say about English, like earlier, you were talking about trying to find the words in English. And I guess I always assumed that your first language was English. So is that not your first language?
It is. It is my first language. But in Singapore, we are not like really good at English, even though it's like our first language, because this country is a mix of so many different cultures. The language, our national language is not English. It's actually Malay.
Okay.
So, yeah, but the main language right now that we are all speaking is English. So we have so many different cultures, so many different races, all different walks of life. So we're not like really good at anything, but we do have many things. But we're not very good at anything. So, and English is one of them. We kind of we have like our own language thing. We call it Singlish.
Singlish.
It's like yeah. So it's like Singapore English, where we would like shorten a lot of the sentences just to get like a point across. So it's like English, but in the form of getting a point across as quickly and as lazily as you can.
As quickly as lazily. I like that.
So it's a really cut down version of English, which in turn leads to our vocabulary not being like very good, or like very, we have very bad vocab.
So that's why you
use the same thing over and over again.
You seem to find yourself searching for words a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I was curious also, have you always lived in Singapore, or did you ever live anywhere else?
Yeah, I've always lived in Singapore. I have lived here, but yeah, the whole of my life I have lived here. I've only moved to Hong Kong for like a year maybe, but that's the only other place I went to.
What about your parents? Yeah. If you don't mind my asking.
Also.
Your parents also were always in Singapore?
Yeah, both my parents also.
Yeah, because I'm trying. When I listen to you talk, I try to pick out because I'm actually very fascinated in linguistics and where we pick up the way we talk. You know, so what I'm hearing in you are a lot of different things, I think, which would make sense with Singapore because you are there, which from what you're saying, a blend of so many things. So that's probably what it is I'm hearing is not no one thing, but a blend.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a blend of many different things.
Yeah.
But the main English language in Singapore, it's like UK English. So a lot of people, when they do have, I don't know, an accent or something, is usually closer to like UK English, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I hear the UK part of it, but I also hear like it's not with you. It's not strong at UK. It's also like some American, like almost towards me, the way I talk, but a blend between the way I talk and UK and maybe some other things that I don't even realize.
Yeah.
So
it's a mess. We don't have our accent is having no accents, or like every accent.
Having every accent possible at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're trying to push the boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was also wanting to ask you a little bit about, since I think I've probably finished the philosophy part, though I don't know whether some other things might come up, about what you've been doing recently. For it's me, Sid. For the thickest accent in English, just ask me. Oh yes, he's from France.
Is it? There we go.
He has a wonderful accent. So
I'd love to hear it.
yeah, with most things that you're doing right now, it seems like there's a lot of things that you're working on. So very curious, for example, how you got started with having a song and a fashion show. I really liked seeing that.
Right. That was a very impromptu gig that I got, the fashion show thing. I've one of my friends, he needed some help with producing the songs for the fashion show, because there was a lot of designers in that show, and we had to do like 13 songs. So there were like roughly 13 designers. So we had to do like 13 songs. We kind of split the load among like the three of us. There were three of us working on it. And yeah, so that's how I got that one. My friend needed to split the load.
He needed ones that were not copyrighted elsewhere.
Yeah. The designers were looking for like original music, something that was were to fit their the idea and the concept of, like, you know, the clothes or the theme of the whole thing. So they really wanted like original, like made to order kind of music. So yeah.
So they let you know what sort of general style that they wanted, and then you did something for them.
Yep. Like a mood board thing. We have like a whole mood board, and you know, stuff like designer one, and then they show us the mood board, different ideas, where they got their inspirations from. They show us some samples of like the clothing, like in progress, you know, making in progress, or like tailoring in progress, stuff like that. Or like some of them even like the models, some of the models that they were gonna hire and do the walks. So we do get very we do like communicate a lot back and forth, like with the designers and stuff like that. So that was really fun. But the timeline, the deadline for that project was so rushed. They kind of gave us like 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks to finish.
Oh my goodness.
13 so
2 weeks to get 13 songs?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
From start to finish.
So how did you get yourself through that?
I spent every hour of my day just working. It was on my mind nonstop. But I felt like it was a good opportunity. So I was willing to push through everything, you know, get it done well, you know, obviously. I think the quality is what matters the most.
Do you think that you had to compromise on quality at all with that, or was it all, you were happy with it?
I wouldn't say compromise. I don't think it was a compromise. I mean, definitely the lesser time you have, probably, you know, quality will be affected. But I wouldn't say it's a compromise, because I think I did the best I could in the 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I think that's all that matters, and it turned out pretty great. I don't think that I try not to tell myself like, man, if I had more time, I would have done like a better job. I kind of not look at things like that, because, you know, if I'm done with something, I don't look at the what ifs, or like, you know, in another dimension it would have been different. Like I don't like to think like that. It just makes me unnecessarily stressed, or like, you know, affects me in a negative way.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because
So,
I know that have you ever had the situation with, it sounds like you have, had the situation where you produce a song and you're working with something or a track and you feel like it's never done, right? There's always something with it that you feel like you want to fix. And it takes months and months and months and months to do one track. And like I have one that I'm getting ready to release, right? And it's getting close to a year now that it's probably going to be before it turns out. But so do you find that you're trying to move away from that now?
Yeah, recently, I mean, I stopped having like an issue with that anymore. But back then, I was always, you know, like you said, you know, it will never be ready until you say it's ready, kind of thing. So, like with my music, I don't give myself deadlines to determine like, okay, this is where I should stop. But I kind of let the sound of it, or like the intention of what you want the song to sound like. So if the boxes are already ticked in your mind, and when you hear like, or when I hear my stuff, maybe after I've mixed it and like kind of like done-ish, I would listen to it and ask myself, like, does this make me feel the way I want it to make me feel? Or like, do I think it's a good song? You know, it got the point, like, has it gotten the point across? If it has, and you feel like you've done everything to make it sound clean, or, you know, well recorded, or, you know, all the other technical stuff, then I think that's where it's really done. Because making small little tweaks from like at the later stages, I don't think it's improving on the song. It's just like you're just changing it. It's just another way of doing things. So if I add this guitar, if I play this guitar differently, or like let me tweak the sound of this to make it better, I don't think you're making it better. You're just like coming up with another way to do it, another sound. So I like to stop there when I find myself thinking of small little things to change. And yeah,
because you can do that forever, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just changing it. I don't think you're improving it anymore. So I like to stop there.
You actually have a point where you're working on a song and you're saying to yourself, I'm just making little changes that probably no one's going to notice. And then you just say to yourself, okay, that's it, G, we're done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why am I doing all the different versions possible?
Do you normally produce all your own songs?
Yeah, I do. Produce everything by myself. It might, some people have asked me, like, why do I not want to, you know, hire someone to produce for me, especially when I'm doing like my own pieces. Like people would be like, why don't you get someone else? And so you can like kind of churn out more. This is what they were asking me about. Like, if you have another producer, or not another producer, but like someone to do the production work or like the mixing and everything, then I could spend more time on writing more stuff. But I feel like I've always produced my own stuff because that's where I get like the most control and the most genuine stuff that I want to put out. You know, it's not filtered by someone else's mind or like decision making. So I really like to do everything on my own.
Yeah, so that this way it's all your ideas and all your perspectives. I think I've had sometimes when I've had to call in other producers when, first of all, I don't have the musical ability to do a lot of the things I'd like to do. So it's kind of like, okay, like I would have to call someone like you to do the guitar. Mm-hmm. And then someone else if I wanted to do like a voice with me and things like that. And what I find is when I have like different people working on it with me, then I don't know how to like get it to sound like it belongs together. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, I have, like, in the early stages, but I very quickly realized that if I were to find, I do work with people. I do like collaborate with different artists, but I feel that's where, like, you have to be intentional with who you call or like who you choose to work with, because that's like the most important stage of making sure the sound and everything works together in like a song. Because if I'm just picking people just because like they're really skillful, then their skill don't really matter if it can't work. Like if it's not intentional, if you don't really see if their style would fit with something else. So yeah, I did like a couple songs for like someone else, like a local artist over here. We did some recording, so I would really make sure I would call people that like a external drummer, for example, like a drummer to come down and record, or like a bassist. Oh, I know I play the bass, but a guitarist. Like even sometimes, because I'm like the bassist and kind of guitarist for that particular artist, if I feel like someone else's style would fit this song more, I would get that person to do the guitar tracks rather than me doing it, even though I might be the guitarist, the main guitarist, I guess, for like a project. So I kind of like care about the sound more than the, I don't know, the showy stuff.
I see. What do you mean by
Yeah.
by this the showy stuff?
Like personal flares. I don't know if that makes sense. Like my style of playing the guitar. Like this is especially with writing, like creating a new song. I would throw away the stylistic aspect of playing. So I don't really infuse my style of playing into a song. I would kind of like throw that away and play in a way where it would honor the song. So I'm kind of like, yeah, that's what I meant by like I care about the song more than, my own style. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're saying you're trying to make the song more about the song itself rather than calling attention to your playing. It's like someone's not going to be listening to the song and say, wow, that's guitarist was amazing. But then that might draw attention away from the song itself.
Yeah. That works as an example. Or like, it's more of people. Let's say I do have like a guitar part or like a guitar solo in a song, for example. I want people to say that's a good guitar solo and not recognize that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want people to be like, oh, G killed that guitar solo. Like, I want it to not be like recognizable. I want it to just be like good for the song.
So
Actually, I probably wouldn't even want them to say like good guitar solo. I wanted them to say like good song,
yeah, the song is in general is good.
Yeah, like it's so part of it. Like all the elements of the song work so well together, and when everything kind of lines up, it's the song that is great. Like people enjoy the entire thing, rather than like aspects of it. Just because, that's why I don't care about like the stylistic stuff. I do like to honor the individual pieces of music that I work on.
I see. I think I understand. You want it to be that the song as a whole is what's really going to stand out, as opposed to just like you. Yeah, it's a way of being humble, I think. Yeah. I just want to say, Edward's saying, I think he's saying people have different ways of playing, and he tries to find the people that fit the song, even if they're less skilled or recognizable. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly it. I think that's important when we are creating stuff, and because I don't see a huge point in creating and getting, like, for example, getting people to play or like to record something for you just because they're like skillful in their own way, but not like, to me it doesn't really make any sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So,
especially when you're creating.
yeah. So it's kind of like you're looking more like for something. It's almost like you would think, like, if you could have Carlos Santana or someone amazing playing your song, everybody would be like, "Oh, Carlos Santana plays on that song," and then they probably wouldn't even realize that it was your song, right? It'd be something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, do you surround yourself with like a group of people that you generally work with? Because one of the things that I've struggled with when I do collabs is like the person usually has a lot of commitments and they're usually trying to make a living with whatever it is they're doing. And they usually don't have the commitment to what I'm doing as much as I do, because it's my song, right? And it's not necessarily their song. So in order to overcome that, do you surround yourself with certain people, or how does that work?
I think it really depends on who I am with. But back then I used to have like a stronger community where everybody was sharing like the same vision. We were all like eager to get to a certain level, so that really helped in terms of being consistent and everything. But recently, for like collaboration or like collaborating with people, you kind of just have to like find a good balance of doing something else. Even though, like, if I were to write a song and I were to collab with someone, and knowing that they have like other commitments, I would also put myself in like, I wouldn't spend my entire like mind on that one project, and because that would just make me feel like it's like a potential for making me feel like I'm putting in more work than the person I'm collaborating with, which is, that's bad if you start thinking like that. But yeah, I try to fill my schedule up with other stuff, so I'm equally as our commitment level to the project is like kind of similar.
Yeah. So maybe also it's almost also emotionally invested in the project too. Like the person you're collabing with won't necessarily be as emotionally invested in it as you, because it's not their song. So that's what I've had to learn too. And it's been very hard for me, actually. I've had to learn that this year. Is just like, it might be hard for me to go on to something else with something not finished, but I have to absolutely force myself to do that.
Yeah. I think, spending too much brain energy on one thing, it's not very, I don't think it's good for your brain. Like, you want to work on multiple things, and it's also good for, stepping away from a project and like resetting the ears, going back to it again. Stuff like that. I think not spending too much time, but being too committed and like only doing one thing. I don't know where I was going with this, but
that's what I'm finding, is that like I think a lot of time I had that mindset that, okay, don't go on to something else until you finish one thing. But I'm learning that if I'm going to collab with other artists, I just can't do that, because they're going to be doing other things, and it's going to have to be, then I can't put my life on hold like that. you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you put out a song, do you ever have the feeling like I sometimes have, where it's you have like your part of your heart and soul and whatever is into this song, and then once it's finished, it's kind of like disappearing out there, and you feel like, okay, now it kind of evaporates into nothing and you never see it again. And it can be hard. Well, how do you deal with like the feelings behind that when you know it meant a lot to you, but then you don't know if it means anything to anybody else?
Because when I create my songs and like stuff out there, the stuff that are already out there, those are the pieces that I know. Those pieces have such a strong meaning to me that I'm not worried about if it would mean something to other people. It's kind of like, as long as I am really connected to it, I think that's like that. It means the most to me. Like if the song has so much connection with me, or I have so much connection with the song, I think that's what matters most. When I write stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of like a journal, like Spotify, like streaming platforms. For me, it's just kind of like a journal where I'm putting stuff that, really means a lot to me, and like I feel very strongly for. So, whoever would want to have a listen, or like, possibly mean something to you, then, go ahead. So I kind of look at it as like a journal.
I like that as an idea. And I think that might actually help me, thinking about looking at it as a journal, because then you're kind of like, okay, you feel like it's important to you to process that portion of your life that you had at that time. And you know that it may not be important to anybody else, but it's still worth it to you.
Yes, exactly. And that's where in a music standpoint, like that's where all the real stuff comes in. Like when I look at it as like, being a journal, like your production value will not be about like, having the most surgically clean song ever. Like you start to look at it in a way where, as long as it's genuine, it's intentional, it might not be like the cleanest recording, but that's the song. It made it easier for me to put it out, like actually put it out, rather than always thinking like, is this like good enough for Spotify and for people to listen, and like, is this clean enough? I stopped thinking about that once I thought about looking at it as like a journal thing.
So does that help you get out of the whole mindset, which sometimes comes across, at least with me, is that I might look at a song and I say, oh, that's not going to mean anything to anyone else. That song is too personal, so there's no use in putting it out there. So then you just say, I'll just put it anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of do it. Like I feel with art, there's always a lot of what's the word? Like collateral effects. Yes. Like there's a lot of things that come with it. So making a song with a purpose, like if if the purpose of making this one piece is to make people feel happy, for example, there are like other stuff that comes with it when it comes to like art or like music. Like for example, if the rhythm is great, then people might look at it as like, oh, this is a dancey track. Like I feel like I want to dance to it. and to someone else it might be like, this actually hits me in a different way, you know, like they don't think of dancing to it, they kind of think of like meaning, it's like a meaningful song. So I don't really worry too much about if my song would connect with others, or like how it can connect, because I know it would do its thing without trying, you know.
So in
gonna
other words,
connect
it's
to
like
people.
you're not going to go, like if you're writing the lyrics, right? Like this is what I've sometimes done, and maybe I need to stop doing this. Like from what you're saying, to actually go through and say, okay, I need to change these lyrics so that then it'll have more general appeal. There's
Right.
maybe no need to do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to do that, because you want the first thing that you should accomplish in a song is to make it as genuine as possible and as intentional as possible. I think that's my mantra when it comes to creating. As long as it's genuine and intentional, there's no need to change it for like external factors, like, you know, making it pleasing to the general public. Yeah.
And then you can get away from the whole thing that I guess some of us sometimes do, like we go on YouTube and see how many plays our video got, or how many listens on Spotify did our one song get, and it can kind of beat up our self-esteem, right? It's like, okay, my songs just got out of the whole year 2 listens, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's like wicked, you know.
But yeah, I think looking at all the like numbers is, for me, when I do that, I mean, I do that. Like I do look at like how many views I got, or like how many streams I have on Spotify. I like to look at it as a form of like learning how the general crowd is like, rather than like using it to judge my own work. So a lot of people kind of use those numbers to determine if their own work is like good or not. But I like to use the numbers instead to judge how people are taking it. So I'm learning more about people rather than discovering whether my work is good or not. Because if it's out there, if you decided to put it out there in any way, whether it's a video or like a song, then you probably know that it's good enough for yourself, at least, or like, you know, it's good enough to have some meaning in that the piece. So I don't think like using the numbers to rejudge your work is like stabbing yourself in the back, because you were already certain that you were gonna put it out, and you did, and now that you look at the numbers, like, why would you doubt yourself again, like, for no reason? So I kind of like to look at the numbers in the form of, I'm learning how people are like, or like I'm learning how they receive stuff like this, but it doesn't change how I look at the thing that I put out, because I know it's already done and it's great. It's just how people are taking it.
Yeah. So would it make you then change your mind about what kind of song you're going to do in the future, or would it just say, okay, you know, this teaches you what people are like out there?
Yeah, it just teaches me. I probably wouldn't change anything about it, or like I wouldn't make changes based off how I feel the general public would take it, because my goal personally, I'm not trying to put this on like every musician, but my personal goal in making music is to be as genuine and intentional and unaffected by anything at all. That's the ultimate goal for me. Like when I can eventually create music that has absolutely no influence from like external factors, then I think I would have it would be a good song, like it would be a great song, or like a great piece of something. So that's the goal, to be completely uninfluenced by anything at all.
That would be
my own
great, though.
style.
I think we're all going to have to be influenced at least some, right?
Yes,
But,
definitely, definitely.
Would you? I was wondering as you were saying that, like, how that affects you in terms of making a living. I mean, is music, if you don't mind my asking, like the only way that you make a living, or are there other things that you do to support yourself?
Right now, music is the only thing that I'm trying to use to, earn the money and like get by. But I do other stuff which I guess music related. I do teach. I teach guitar and the whole production thing for other people, or like playing live shows for different artists. So it's still music, but it is the only source of my income. But I don't believe it has to be, even though you might be like the most passionate about music. It doesn't have to be music. Like if you're passionate about something, your passion doesn't have to be the source of your income. I used to have a lot of struggle grasping that concept. I always believe that if I'm passionate about something, I would love to make it, my main thing and like earn from it. And I would beat myself up in the past when I don't get gigs, and I would be like, why are people not seeing like my skill? Like, I'm trying to earn money from this. I'm trying to show people like, look, I'm good enough to earn from this. Why are you not giving me the opportunity? Like,
Right. So the thing is that I guess what I'm wondering is if there's a section of you where you're like, you could market yourself as someone who could like do a gig and just be out there doing originals and covers, just like letting people hear what they want to hear and getting yourself some funds so that then you can do what you want to do. Is there any aspect of that for you? I guess
no,
the production would be.
Yeah, because like at least because for production, it's not really like putting myself on the face of it. So I guess that doesn't affect it. But my main thing is music is kind of like a sacred thing for me. So I wouldn't use it in a way where it's not genuine to earn, or like to make a living, like, do pop songs or like stuff like that people like, just so that I can, I don't know, get out there even more, or like earn money from it. Like I'd rather not do that. I'd rather like earn my money from something else, like go work at a bank or something,
So I think a lot of people here on Twitch do that. Like they get here on Twitch, and when they're here, they do basically whatever they want. But then the rest of the time, they may have a job, like as a computer programmer or something like that. They work at home. So it would turn out to be like maybe something like that if it had to be for you.
Yeah, that's why Twitch is so amazing, because it lets you do exactly what you like you love to do, or like what you are really passionate about, and Twitch lets you do it completely how you want to do it. So I think that's why Twitch is awesome, because then you start to meet people who are like really passionate at something, and they're doing exactly just that on Twitch, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, I like that too about my stream. I will say, like, there's some days that I have friends here and I know that they like to hear a certain kind of music, and it may be not necessarily that I'm especially in the mood for playing that at that time, but I don't know what else to play. So I would just play it because it's going to make them happy. But yeah, but I like the aspect of it too. Like sometime if I'm in the mood for being creative, or if I'm in the mood for exploring something, so I can learn it, I will do it, and I'll just know that maybe that's not the day I'm going to have as many viewers here, but doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, there's really no there's no downside to these kind of stuff, as long as like you're doing something and you're enjoying it, there's really nothing else to think about or like worry about.
Yeah. Well, is there anything, do you have any links that you would want to put in the chat? I think I'm going to wind down the talk show and see if there's any questions that maybe the chat might have for Genesis. And you can put your links into chat, just where people can find you and things like that.
I got it. Let me pull up those links. So I'll probably just put my Instagram, because that's where everything is.
Yeah.
I've been trying to consolidate all my work onto my Instagram. So, it's kind of like a portfolio
Okay.
thing for me. So this would be my Instagram.
Okay. So if you want to find Genesis, he's right there. And I think you have a link tree over there too, where they can find you. I think that's following you on Spotify, but if they want to find you on Spotify, it would be under that same name, right?
Yep. I actually, let me just put my link tree also, just in case.
Sure, go ahead.
Just put the link tree, so that's where my Spotify is, my latest releases. Wait, that's not it. There we go. But yeah, this is where everything is.
There you go. So, do you have anything right now that you're looking forward to doing in the future, like in the end of this year or the beginning of the coming year, that you have projects coming up?
Well, yeah. Right now, I'm pretty excited for. I have a couple songs coming out, or like in the works. They're not ready yet, but I've been really into collaborating with a lot of different people this year and next year. That's the plan. So I have some stuff lined up. It's probably like the most real stuff I've done in a while. Ever since I've moved from like playing pop stuff to a bit more experimental. So this one is I'm really excited to start collaborating with different people. So that's something I'm looking forward to now.
So you have a lot of different things like that coming up.
Yeah, a lot of collaborative work, which is great and fun and exciting.
Yeah, we were talking that we might do something together soon, even if it's just a cover, just for fun. And just because, like, a lot of times I think to myself, I wonder what I would sound like singing next to someone, or with your guitar behind me and stuff like that. So yeah, we can stay in touch about things like that.
Definitely.
I think a lot of times I feel like there's a conflict with me when it comes to collabing with people, because I always feel like they can put you off almost forever unless you pay them. If you pay them, then it changes the relationship, though.
Yeah. I feel, yeah, it does definitely. Money does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not seeing that anybody has any questions at the moment. So let me see if I can figure out a way to actually, let's not do it like that. Look at Twitch and find if there's anybody. Is there anything that you would want to say before we like wrap up this show?
Not really. Just thank you for having me on this little nice chit chat session. You know, I like it when we can just chill and there's no particular direction that we're going.
Yeah, I just tried to follow your direction with it, and I hope that it worked.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. So let's look at Twitch. See who is all on. Yeah. So let's look at Twitch. Shush. And here we've got Luna. I usually like to go to someone who doesn't have that many viewers.
Right.
Not that. Wow.
We have Lori.
Yeah, it might be nice if we could figure out somebody that you know. How about we do that? You see someone you know that you'd like to go to?
We could go to Lori. She does music. She don't really have like a lot of followers and stuff, so maybe we could go over
How many people does she have watching her right now?
5.
Oh, that's not bad. Can we check and see what time she started?
She's an hour in.
Okay, so that should be good.
So, yeah.
Can you put please put her link into chat for me?
Yeah, sure. I am pasting it in. Right. So this is, okay, that's not a link. I just posted a name.
Oh, her name. Okay. And I'm assuming she's family friendly, right? It does, like, it's okay if they curse a little bit. That's not a big deal.
She's friendly. She's nice.
Okay. Well, then I think we're going to just close the show. And thank you so much, Genesis, for coming. It really helped me to have this to look forward to with all I've been going through lately. And we look forward to seeing your streams here and watching your socials to see what you're going to be doing next.
Thank you for having me. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad. I enjoyed it too. All right, let's get the raid started. First, let's do some thank yous. These are all our mods who are watching the stream. It's me was here earlier. He's probably still here. He plays the piano. Here's all the links of the ones who actually stream. He does stream piano sometimes, though it's been a while. Keymaker Music and anything for Selena's, they lurk here. Roster Jams lurks here as well. Yancey, I think you know. Genesis, right?
Yancey.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a good friend of ours too. So if you would like to, you can follow them. Thank you, everyone that is lurking. I actually don't even know how many people are on this stream right now. So if you'd like to come on the raid, you can. If you're a sub, you can copy that. And if you're not, you can copy that. And let's go meet a new friend. I'm excited to meet a new friend. Okay?
Yay.
And, there. And aloha, everyone. All right. Thank you so much again for being here. It really helped me a lot to have this, like I said, to look forward to. And I think it went really well. Would you be okay with having me put this up on YouTube?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So if you would want it to be on your channel, there's a way that you can do that. All you have to do is put it on one of your playlists if you would want to do that.
Oh, okay. I'll probably, I'll go check it out and figure it out.
Yeah, because I think it went really well, and it gets people to know you a little bit more. And I think it's nice to know somebody. It gives like the human element to your work.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Okay, and I'm going to raid now. And I'm also going to stop the Zoom, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
city because I'm gonna apply a. It's like a bank, yeah. It's a bank. It's a like. Welcome, welcome